The Legend of the Poinsettia. Lucida lived in a small village high up in the mountains of Mexico with her mama, her papa, and her younger brother and sister, Paco and Lupe. Papa worked in the fields with their burro, Pepito. Every evening, Lucida fed Pepito, gave him fresh water, and filled his stall with clean straw. At home, Lucida helped Mama clean their casita, their little house, and pat out the tortillas for their meals. She took care of Paco and Lupe, and each evening they went to the shrine of the Virgin of Guadalupe near the front gate to see if fresh candles were needed. But every day was not work day. On Sundays, the family went to San Gabriel in the square where Padre Alvarez said the Mass. And all through the year there were fiestas and holy days, which always began with a procession. A procession is kind of like a parade that wound through the village and ended in San Gabriel. One day, close to Christmas, La Navidad, Padre Alvarez came to their casita. "Ah, Señora Martinez, buenos dias, good day." Padre Alvarez said, "I'm here to ask you about the blanket which covers the figure of the baby Jesus in the Christmas parade. We have used the same one for so many years that it's almost worn out. Because your weaving is so fine, I have come to ask if you would make a new one." "Mi padre," Lucida's mother said, "I would be honored, and Lucida will help me." So she's going to make a new blanket for the baby Jesus that goes on the baby Jesus during the Christmas, because the other one's all worn out. That's a big task, isn't it? On Saturday, Lucida and Mama went to the market to buy the wool for the blanket. They chose the finest yarn they could find. At home, Lucida helped Mama dye the wood the colors of the rainbow. So there they turned them from white wool to colored wool. "Those colors will shine throughout the whole church," Papa said, as he watched Lucida and Mama string the yarn on the loom. As Christmas grew closer, everyone in the village was busy. All the mamas were making gifts to place at the manger for the baby Jesus in the church. The papas worked together, putting up the manger scene in San Gabriel. Lucida and her other children went to the church for singing practice for the Christmas Eve procession, when everyone would walk to San Gabriel singing and carrying candles. Once inside, Padre Alvarez would lay the figure of the baby Jesus in the manger, and the villagers would go up and place their gifts around it. So every Christmas Eve, they parade it to the church, and they put the baby Jesus in the manger. "Our gift will be the blanket for the baby Jesus," Lucida told her friends. "I am helping Mama weave it." One afternoon, a few days before Christmas Eve, Lucida and the children were singing in the church when Señora Gomez came hurrying in. "Lucida, you must come home. Your Mama is sick, and your Papa has taken her down to the town to see the doctor. You must take care of your brother and sister until your Papa returns tonight." Lucida was frightened. Mama had never been sick before. When she got home, Paco and Lupe were crying. They were frightened too. Lucida tried to comfort them. She made some food and sat down to wait for Papa. That evening, Papa came in looking tired and worried. He drew Lucida close and said, "Lucia, mi niña, your Mama is ill. Your Aunt Tia Carmen will take care of Mama until she is well. But I must go back and stay with Mama until I can bring her home. But it won't be until after Christmas. Señor Gomez will take care of you, and Paco and Lupe while I'm gone. She will come for you tomorrow." The next afternoon, Lucida overheard two women talking. "Lucida's Mama is ill. She won't be able to finish the blanket for the procession. Isn't it a shame?" "Sí," the other woman said. "We are all so disappointed. Padre Alvarez will have to use the old worn-out one." When Lucida went home to feed Pepito and get clothes for Paco, Lupe, and herself, she looked at the unfinished blanket on the loom. "Perhaps I can finish it," she thought. But when she sat down and tried to weave, the yarn got all tangled. The more she tried to untangle it, the worse it got. It was no use. She could never finish it by herself. So now they don't have a gift for the baby Jesus. She took the unfinished blanket to Señora Gomez. "Oh, Lucida, it's so tangled. There isn't time for me to fix it," Señora Gomez told her. "Tomorrow is Christmas Eve." Lucida started to cry. It was her fault the blanket was ruined. Her family wouldn't have a gift to place at the manger the baby Jesus. "Don't worry, Lucida. We will all go to the procession together." Lucida didn't say anything, but in her heart she felt like she had ruined Christmas. "Come, Paco, come, Lupe. It is time to go to the procession." Señora Gomez called on Christmas Eve. "Where is Lucida?" She was nowhere to be found. Lucida was hiding. See right there? From the shadows, Lucida watched everyone gather for the procession. The candles were lit, the singing began, and the villagers walked to San Gabriel carrying gifts to place at the manger. Lucida walked along in the darkness and watched the procession go into the church, followed by Padre Alvarez carrying the baby Jesus. Little girl, are you Lucida? An old woman stood in the shadows nearby. See, Lucida answered, wondering who she was. I have a message for you. Your mama is going to be fine, and your papa will bring her home soon, so you don't have to worry. Go now into the church and celebrate Christmas with the others. Paco and Lupe are waiting for you. I can't, Lucida told her. I don't have a gift for the baby Jesus. Mama and I were weaving a beautiful blanket, but I couldn't finish it. I tried, but I only tangled it up. Ah, Lucida, any gift is beautiful because it is given, the old woman told her. Whatever you give, the baby Jesus will love because it comes from you. But what can I give now? Lucida said, looking around. A patch of tall green weeds grew in a tangle nearby. Lucida rushed over and picked up an armful. Do you think these will be all right? Lucida turned to ask the woman. But she was gone. Lucida walked in the church. It was blazing with candlelight. The children were singing as she walked quietly down the aisle with a bundle of green weeds in her arms. What is Lucida carrying? A woman whispered. Why is she bringing weeds into the church? Another one murmured. Lucida reached the manger scene. She placed the green weeds around the stable. Then she lowered her head and she prayed. A hush fell over the church. Voices began to whisper. Look! Look at the weeds! Lucida opened her eyes and looked up. Each weed was topped with a flaming red star. The manger glowed and shimmered as if lit by 100 candles. When everyone went outside after the Mass, all the clumps of the green weeds throughout the town were shining with red stars. Lucida's simple gift had indeed become beautiful. And every Christmas to this day, the red stars shine on top of green branches in Mexico. The people call the plants La Flor de Nochebuena, the flower of the Holy Night, the poinsettia. So that's how they say the poinsettia came to be, was through magic.
On your phone while we were playing basketball. I got a message from my cousin. He sent me a picture of him in his robe getting ready for Las Posadas. Las Posadas? What is that? Las Posadas is a way of celebrating in many cities in Mexico, Frankie. I have never heard of Las Posadas before. Frankie, in English, Las Posadas means the inn, and it is a festival that honors the journey of Joseph and Mary from Nazareth to Bethlehem in a such a safe place where Mary could give birth to baby Jesus.
Do they celebrate it on Christmas Day like many other people around the world on December 25th?
Actually, it is celebrated from December 16th, Angel, and everyone follows him in something called a procession. Other kids are there dressed in silver and gold robes, carrying lit candles and pictures of Joseph.
Okay, so Las Posadas, I know it's kind of hard with their voices sound weird, don't they? Yeah, they sound weird. But it's telling you all about Las Posadas. And it starts on December 16th, and every night they do a little parade to the church. But then they follow an angel into the church. But on Christmas Eve is when they put the baby Jesus in the manger. Just listen.
Mary riding her donkey while they visit selected homes, asking for a place to stay. People in the homes tell them no, and the procession keeps going.
Listen.
So is it just the kids who take part in the festival?
No, adults take part too. For example, they play music as they make their way and read scripture at each stop from the Bible, and they also sing Christmas carols.
Do they do anything else?
Yes, at the end of the evening, they have mass, and the kids break open piñatas that are filled with candy, toys, and more.
Well, I love how people celebrate the holidays around the world, and this was fun learning about Las Posadas for kids.
And I hope you had fun learning with FRESBERG cartoon.
They were talking about Las Posadas and how it starts in the middle of December, and they go around knocking on doors trying to find a place to stay like Mary and Joseph did before they had baby Jesus. If you've seen the movie The Star, you know that, right? They were knocking on doors trying to find a place to stay. So that's what they're doing, is they're trying to find a place for baby Jesus. And then on Christmas Eve, they take baby Jesus to the church.